WhatsApp 4.0. Hey everyone, it's me Nordina Awatif binti Saiful Bahrain, and today I want to share a story that brought both bitter and sweet experiences into my life. It happened last year on the 4th of July in 2022. Sounds like a suspenseful story, doesn't it? Actually, this story is my own experience of facing a flood. The flood occurred when I was at my grandmother's house in Baling, Kedah. Alright, let's continue with my own experience in facing this flood. Before proceeding, take a look at these pictures taken before the flood, capturing both bitter and sweet moments in my life. On the 4th of July 2022, around 6 p.m., my family and I went to visit my grandmother. This was because at that time, my grandmother informed us that the water was starting to rise. You should know that my grandmother's house is right behind a river. So, whenever it rains incessantly, we would start preparing. However, on that fateful day, we did not anticipate that the river water would rise suddenly, entering my grandmother's house. Because of that, at around 7 p.m., I have asked my mother, my father, and also my younger sibling to go back home, and I would stay with my grandmother to monitor the flood situation. If anything happened, I would inform to them. However, who would have thought that at 7:30 p.m. the water rose suddenly and entered my grandmother's house. My grandmother and I were quite panicked, trying to contact my uncle who happened to be in the village at that time. Afterward, I also immediately informed my parents. When my uncle arrived at my grandmother's house, we tried to salvage essential items such as documents, motorcycle, television, and also other things. We hurriedly sought refuge in a neighbor's house, which at that time still had the flood water under control. However, around 8 p.m., the water in my neighbor's house also rose suddenly. Many villagers took shelter there too. At that time, we could only rely on prayers while awaiting assistance from the authorities. About 30 minutes later, rescue boats arrived. They prioritized the elderly and children to board the boats to the evacuation center, which was my old school, Sekolah Kebangsaan Kampung Sadik. We were required to provide our names and personal information. After completing all the procedures at the evacuation center, around midnight, the authorities announced that the water had begun to recede. However, residents were still not allowed to return home until the next day. So, these are pictures after the flood. My family and I worked hard to clean my grandmother's house until it returned to normal. There was also a group of food panda riders who entered the village to distribute food to flood victims. What makes this incident a sweet memory for me is the unity and strong bond among family members, neighbors, and several NGOs that help alleviate the burden of flood victims. So, that's all from me, the story of my experience in facing the flood. Goodbye and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye-bye!